Hey, I had an astrology reading with an amazing friend of mine, an incredible astrologer, Monique Lafontaine, and she gave me this practical piece of advice at the end. She said that she said it was really important for me to return to my meditation process, which of course I just avoid. I mean, I learned to meditate like, I don't know, I think about 10 years ago, maybe more, actually probably 11 years ago, and it literally at the time completely changed the shape of my mental health reality. I was very on the edge when I started, and I remember being 2 weeks into a very regular, twice a day transcendental meditation practice, and finishing a meditation one day and just being like, oh, this is what normal people feel like, or this is what it like feels like to feel okay. That's actually what it was. It's like, this is what it feels like to actually be okay, and it felt foreign, felt amazing, but foreign, and that was really shocking. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. So she was like, you've got to return to meditating. And actually, what would be great is if you would just do some journaling after you're meditating. And I'm one of those people that was a little bit like, I wasn't really a dear diary keeper when I was a teenager. I'm always so jealous of those friends of mine that have like volumes of their writing up on their shelves. But I'm kind of a hit and miss. I write when I'm really struggling with something, or I write when I'm on a particular trip, or I write to write songs, right? But I'm not really a journaler. I was like, okay, give it a try. So I started meditating, and I went back to this practice called Morning Pages, which was part of the Artist's Way. I don't know if you've checked that book out, but it's really cool. And it has a series of exercises that you go through. But the mainstay throughout the whole course is this thing called Morning Pages, where you basically, for 3 pages, you just write. You just purge, you just get it out. And if you don't have anything to say, you just like write the shopping list if you need to. But you just keep you take the top 3 pages of noise out of your head. Amazing. I did that for years when I was actually first with John, so like 20 years ago. Wow. I didn't do it for years. Actually, I did it for like 6 months. It was great. Anyway, so I thought, cool, I'll just do like a version of Morning Pages. What has been amazing about it, to cut a long story short, or make a short story long, has been the absolute relief of dragging or leading or scratching my pen across a page, right? Just been so enjoying the physical practice of that. But in this way, almost like funneling, filtering down whatever's come up in my meditation. Also, as things come up in my meditation, I'm like, cool, I'll deal with you in my journal. You go back over there. I'm coming back to the mantra. Okay, I see you there. That's a cool one. Okay, I'll deal with you in my journaling. I'll come back to the mantra. And so at the end of the meditation, I pick my book up and I start writing 3 pages. And it's just been amazing to sort of funnel these abstract thoughts that would generally become smoke and haze in my mind for the rest of the day, and just be sort of part of my experience of kind of feeling muddled or confused or anxious or whatever, and just actually give them form. It's been so cool and so powerful, because something about the somatic process of writing it, of actually filtering it down into my hand and then putting it onto the page, has made this kind of visceral transference of the noise that I generally experience in my head, which if it's too loud just becomes this sort of dull ache. It's just kind of viscerally transferring it into a shape that is not in me anymore. So I don't have to identify with it in the same way. Just the very act of creating language for it in a way that makes sense across a page almost like puts me in the position of the observer. And within that, I get a break from drowning in the experience of it. And that's kind of everything. Like, that is actually everything. It's such an amazing feeling. It's not everything, but it's a bloody good start. And I've really noticed it's made a difference to my capacity to then just like, I do all this in bed, by the way. That's the other thing. And just like meditate and write, just as a condition of like, cool, the day doesn't start till I just do this thing. And I've just noticed it has this thing of like, cool, I've turned up to myself, first of all. I've made some sense out of nonsense. I've practiced being an observer, because that actually takes practice. But for me, when I have some ability around being the observer in my life, that gives me those split seconds between something happening and my reaction to sort of go, oh, hold on a second, this is happening to you, or you're having a reaction to this. This is not who you are. This is not a fight or flight moment. Like, you're okay. You know, that observer perspective of like, okay, everyone just relax, you know. So having those three things as the setup, so that whole idea of like making sense out of nonsense, turning up to myself, and what was the third one I just said? Practicing being the observer. I mean, starting the day with that has been such a good practice. I mean, great to return to meditation, but great to add this journaling onto it as just this somatic release of the noise. And also then, in moments, making it beautiful. So it's also creative, actually. Before I've even gotten out of bed every morning, I've been creative because I love wordcraft. So and then I've also just like made pretty shapes on paper, you know, like it's this beautiful, it's so good. Highly recommend it. It's good. It's good. It's good. Check it out.